Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
And let the plenty of deaths continue. We've got the really epic music for
Attack on Titan.
A lot of deaths. And hey, joining us this week, John Quick.
How you guys doing? A lot of people actually didn't die. Really, only one guy dies this episode, but man, do we get to see a lot of the remains of the others. It's glorious.
And Katie Cullen.
I can't figure out what the hashtag for this song should be. Are they even singing in German?
It's
definitely not
English.
but don't know what to do.
I believe it's hashtag triumphant Japanese, which doesn't.
Here's the best part. Wait, best part's right here. Yeah.
I guess this is triumphant
Hashtag
Latin.
epic Japanese.
Okay.
Close.
Megan Salinas.
Hi guys. Like last week, I'm very sad after this episode.
And guys, I'm Dave Klein. I can't concentrate because I just want to listen to the music. I'm like, wait, this is the good part again. It's coming.
Honestly,
This is when Aaron's got the boulder on his back. Okay, he's approaching the hole, but now things have gone bad. You can tell because there's that like little beat right there. It's like boom, you know.
that part, yeah.
That. All right, no, we're back. We're back.
but
It doesn't
usually-
quite fit because this episode was just like.
Yeah, usually-
it still has a sense of dread to it. This is one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack.
See, I don't know. Like usually though, this song plays when something good's finally happening.
Yeah,
That's like the finally something
they
like
also
good.
played it when he transformed into a Titan and started fighting the female
Yeah,
Titan.
because at first it was good. You were like, oh, it's going well again, because he was kicking her ass at first. And then she started dodging everything and blowing up his hand, and
I don't think he
kicked
ever
his head
had the
off.
upper hand on that.
yeah, but like
he
at first,
never did.
but at first they're trying to build up like this is the moment that it might turn around.
He did get one hell of an uppercut on her. I got to say that was like an impressive one. And even just like watching his form, like those animators, like they watched a good amount of boxing. They possibly was like Manny Pacquiao fighting. Was like guys, that.
Yeah, it is interesting to me watching his form too. I agree. It looks like their style's boxing, like definitely boxing style.
And you really have to know your anatomy when you're doing human piloted Titans like that, because
Yeah.
they're not like normal Titans where you can do the squash and stretch and just screw around with it. This is really impressive, actually, all the musculature work.
Yeah,
I'm friends with a lot of artists.
they
so
went
this
to
is
art
like,
school. These guys.
I did not
They
go to art
studied it.
school. I can do stick figures. I am friends with artists and they know their stuff.
They're like, we can put the muscles on and the bones and reconstruct everything.
And it's so
creepy looking.
But
Oh, yeah, that too.
I know, peel off someone's skin. Ugh. Okay, so let's go into Mikasa. Mikasa realizing that the female Titan wants or needs Eren for something because she thinks absolutely that he's got to be alive, and she thinks that female Titan is holding it in his mouth. And I mean, really, it's just that speculation though, which she ends up being right about, is that this female Titan is keeping him alive for something, and that's really the big question: is why.
Also, there's not room in Mikasa's mind to think that Eren's dead. Like, she won't believe he's dead until she can hold his bloodied remains in her hands.
And even then, she'll be like, become a Titan, become a Titan, get back up, get back up. She doesn't deal well
No, I mean
with
that's
this sort of thing.
That's true,
historically.
but I mean, still though, it does bring up that point of why does the female Titan take Eren as opposed to killing him?
Yeah, like
because he's special.
this whole
But
mission.
why is he
Right,
special?
but
We know
Because he can turn into a Titan.
Yeah, but so can she. We've
Yeah.
already seen two other people. Like to her, this is not a special thing. Like the fact that I can slam dunk is a special thing until I step on an NBA court, and I can't slam dunk. So that's
Right,
also
right.
not
I don't
special.
think we have an NBA court's worth of Titans.
Right, but
though.
the point is, like, if everything was going well until they found Eren, who all of a sudden is, like, reversing their, oh, God, there's this person who can turn into a Titan, you think Team I'm on the side of the Titans would just kill him and get it done with. So
Well,
why
unless they
take
want him to join their little club.
Right.
Exactly.
But why not
kill him when you can use him?
But why not just, show up in a bar, like sit next to him, buy him a drink? It's like, hey, so you can transform into a Titan. Want to see something cool?
Well, he is kind of under military lockdown, so I guess there's that.
Yeah,
there.
that's part of it. The other part of it is that sounds a lot like, hey kid, I have candy in my van.
Well, when it
That's,
comes to beer, though, John
Aaron-
tends to trust people. John's like, oh, it's not just a Bud Light. I'll trust you. You bought me a
Aaron's
nice
telling me
beer.
Good beer. It's why not? Go for it.
Aaron's dumb enough to fall for it. Mikasa's
Yeah.
not, and she would not let him go.
Also,
She probably wouldn't let
Mikasa,
him go to the bar in the first place. Are you kidding?
Mikasa actually talking back to Levi, which catches him off guard. But I feel like he respected her for it. It seemed like he kind of was just like, oh, all right.
Well, he finally realized who she was because
Well,
prior
yeah.
to that, it was just like, okay, this is another member of the Survey Corps. But after
Right.
that, he's like, oh,
You're that person.
But
you're
also,
the childhood
okay.
friend.
but also, like, I guess he would probably heard like she's actually really good, too, because then that's when they formulate to work together. And against this giant female Titan, you can't just use anybody. So
Honestly,
Teamwork
she
time.
was there.
yeah,
And she was a confirmed ally.
that's
I think
true.
he would have taken Armin with him if Armin had been in the air at that
That's
point.
true.
Like,
She-
nope, you're coming with me.
he did give her the role of distraction.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
But when he showed the way that he could just like rollerblade up someone's arm, and it was like cutting the entire time.
That's like Levi the human buzzsaw. I don't think, how does the human body withstand that much G-force? Like, the rate in which he was moving, it seems like he would snap your neck. I know I'm applying logic in this situation, which I shouldn't be. But
I was the one applying logic to the 3D maneuvering gear, so you know what? Go for it.
I don't know. On the phone though, we're gonna have the Six Flags curator talking to us. We don't have anyone on the phone.
What?
Because they probably
Talking
work in
about
G-forces.
G-force.
Yeah. I'm glad Megan's like, sorry.
No.
See,
That.
there were a
no, I
couple.
got it.
No.
There were a
Yeah.
couple of steps to that joke, but I thank you guys for following with us, taking those extra 2 steps to get the funny out.
I fell on them.
I like to trust the audience. So you guys, I trust you guys.
Not everyone lives near a Six Flags.
Oh, well, we're in the United States, where it's a pretty common, known
Statistically
thing.
speaking, you're at least within 4 hours of a Six Flags.
Yes, that's the entire
Fair
state
enough.
of Texas.
back to Levi.
Back to
this
Levi.
was probably like one of the coolest moments of the series,
Oh,
like
yeah.
to date. It was because we've seen him in action before, but we've never seen him, as you said, like defy the laws of physics to fight a Titan by himself. Because even though she's clearly worn out, and that's part of it, he basically took her out by himself. When she's killed all these different Survey Corps members getting to Eren. And granted, she's probably holding back too because she doesn't want to kill Eren. But it's still just phenomenal to just watch him go.
Right. Even when you saw like the combined teamwork of some of the most elite scouts working together fall to her and fail, like it just goes to show just how competent he is. Really, just incredible.
And this is the reason that they trusted Levi to take out Eren if he went rogue, because he can do this.
Yeah. So he ends up after Mikasa goes for the nape because there's an opening. Bad idea because it
The
gets
female
hard.
Titan laid that trap for her.
Well,
Knowing that Mikasa wanted to kill her, was just like, okay, come at me, bro.
yes, but because Mikasa's the one who doesn't know about her hardened ability, so goes for it. Levi
And
goes to
without
save her.
eyes, too. That's pretty impressive.
Well, didn't
Yeah.
Mikasa break her blades on the hardening ability last episode? Wasn't that a thing?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she
she
did,
did.
didn't she? That's
So
right.
she knows about it.
You're
She's
right.
just not thinking.
Well, it's also like, I mean, as Megan pointed out, she was blind at this point, so it's just like, and literally her hand was covering the nape and fell off because of Levi. So it's something where she must have thought like, she can't see me coming. She doesn't have a hand there to block. This is the time to do it, while Levi's taking her out everywhere else. So
I still feel like
Find the
that was a
opportune-
trap that was laid.
Well, it certainly was, because we've seen before that she can focus on different parts to heal more quickly. And she did just that because her hand was able to raise up enough to where it would have grabbed her, except Levi interfered again. So
and it hurts his foot, which doesn't seem to matter. at all. Because then immediately
Rest
after
of the episode.
hurting his foot, he ends up extracting Eren, who turns out to be alive and very slimy.
Yeah, but
Covered
he's,
in gunk.
But he's doing it on one foot. You got to give him that much. Like, he was definitely favoring the other leg. When he went up there to grab her, he was holding that leg up off of the ground.
Well, but then the
Or
rest of the
her
episode,
chin.
he's mounting and dismounting his horse, and I'm like, how? I've ridden horses before, and you try and get up with a bum ankle. That's hard to do.
I think he just like maybe rolled his ankle a little bit. It wasn't really that serious.
I thought it was broken. 'Cause
It's enough
it
to
sounded
keep
like
him
a
out.
crack.
It's enough to keep him out of combat for a while, which means it's
Apparently it
serious
wasn't
enough that
though, because he did just fine in combat right afterwards.
he couldn't get off his horse to face the other Titans that came up.
Oh, is that why he wasn't doing it?
Yeah.
You see him grab his leg, and he's like, "Oh, dang it!"
Because
Ah,
otherwise, they would have been mincemeat, and this wouldn't have been an issue.
right. I was wondering why he didn't just go back and do it. So that makes a lot of
Because
sense.
he's injured.
Well, like since you pointed out, like he just got off his horse and was walking around.
So
That's
get
why
it
it
together,
was
Levi.
weird.
That's why I was just That's why I was like, oh, okay. I
Speaking of
guess.
someone who has rolled their ankle really badly, you can walk on it. You just don't want to.
Well, and it might be broken. It might be a torn tendon. We have no idea.
Right.
He screwed something up, and he shouldn't be walking on it.
Well, and after the extraction of Eren, another really interesting moment here, where we see the female Titan crying, like just
Yeah.
not even just like a sad, like oh maybe she looks sad, like definitely crying.
Yeah, because we've seen her take all sorts of damage prior to this, and she kind of goes from being like having fun with her mission, so to speak, to being okay, serious business, to kind of being sad, and now we definitely see that she's had both of her eyes stabbed out multiple times, and it's losing Eren that causes her to cry. It's so weird.
So it's just mission failure for everyone today.
Yeah, maybe it's more of mission failed, and she's
Yeah.
just so upset about it. So it's just like, why was it so important, and what does that mean so much that that's how big of a deal it was to her?
Makes me wonder if there were consequences for coming back empty-handed.
There are probably
But what would they be, and from whom, and why?
There are always consequences for coming back empty-handed.
I don't know.
so.
She wasn't as upset about being trapped, like about to die, as she is here. So
Well, I think the
That's-
entire time that she was trapped, she's trying to figure a way out. This is just
Done.
yeah. I'm not going to be able to transform again to go after them, and even if I do, I'm just going to be so severely outnumbered, and they're ready for me. This is just complete mission failure. Of course, again, like why was this mission so tantamount? Why was it so important? These are answers we're not gonna get, but
these are totally answers we're gonna get right away in the show.
No.
Yeah, because this series has a satisfactory ending.
So Levi,
Wait.
this series answers its questions. What's in the basement? I'll tell you, a party.
What's in the box?
it just turns out it's like literally just rave materials are in the basement. That's all it is.
Like, seriously? Seriously?
It's just like that's what I came here for.
Skrillex is sitting there. 5 years, guys. I've been sitting here for 5 years. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing in here.
I hate you, Dad.
So
Father of the Year.
Levi, with an great quote to Mikasa, we all get that you love him, but try not to act crazy. Just like that. Levi calls her out on it. So,
And she has this moment of what? Just what?
yeah. Well, I thought her moment was more of just like,
Oh wait, you guys all saw that?
yeah.
It's just like, this is awkward now.
Right, like I thought it was more like an awkward thing, like, oh. So, Scout Regiment's heading back already, definitely like too early. And we get basically the family members of those who we know of, like the characters that we know, like El and Aruo and Gunther and all their parents and family and kids being like, oh, they're coming back already. That's great.
We can set a place at the table for him. Oh, do you think he'll come by long enough to say hello? They say so-and-so's coming back. And it's just like,
Yeah, and I think, again, that this is why this is just, in general, a good show, because it's really like any war, this would be a scene, and this would be a thing.
Yeah,
so.
this is one of those moments of, hey, yeah, guys, do you remember the theme is war is bad? Here's a reminder. hit you several times.
It reminds me of when Rico was talking to Aaron, you know, episodes and episodes ago. You know, they're for every soldier that falls, every one of them has a name and a family. And you forget that a lot of times in a show like this because so many people are quote unquote cannon fodder for the Titans. But this is a reminder. It's like, no, these, not only did you like these characters, but they had a life outside of the Survey Corps. They had a family. And it's just like,
True, but it really only counts for people who make it to the opening theme. If you're not in the opening theme and you're cannon fodder, literally nobody cares.
Just another red shirt.
Just another green cape.
Jean might care, though.
Just another green cloak.
Yeah, Jean might, just not a green cloak for this show. Jean might care, though. He cares about characters that aren't just in the opening.
Marco was in the first opening theme, wasn't he?
I didn't think so.
I thought he was.
Oh.
Well, Marco had a name. And
True.
So
Well, he had a name. I was just saying, I didn't realize he was in the first opening.
He also had screen time. If you have actual screen time, then people care. If you're just the guy that runs in and says, the Titans are coming before you get drop kicked to infinity, then no one cares.
To watch.
Yeah, but it's less of a, oh, I feel sorry for that guy, and more of a, look at him go.
By the way, speaking of Jean is really affected by all the death, and he's kind of talking about how it makes you think, when's it going to be my time? And Connie having the same thoughts, talking to Sasha about this. So kind of similar thoughts running throughout the troops, like seeing all these dead bodies just makes you think, my times could be any time.
Yeah.
Which is Armin comments, it's just like you really can't think about that if you actually want to keep on living. Because otherwise you're going to be paralyzed with fear at the wrong moment.
And then you will die.
And I was like, trust me, I know. And which is what happened to him at Trost District.
Yeah. And Sasha's just going, living, any next time for another potato. Living for the next potato. As long as there's another potato in eyesight, I think she'll be okay.
I think Sasha's got the right idea here, though.
Oh, yeah, she does.
It's like, we were lucky, we get that, but we are still alive. We have to keep going. We can't sit here and go, why me? Why did I survive and they didn't? We have to keep going.
Yeah, and Sasha's character's been much less of a comic relief in the past, really, like, half of a season for the most part.
Yeah.
She was only a comic relief in the first few episodes we meet her, and that's kind of been it. I mean, I'm sure it'll come back at some point, but...
Yeah, definitely.
It's like she's an actual person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's not like cracking jokes and everything like that. You can definitely tell she's been affected by everything as well.
Yeah.
But there are a ton of dead bodies that they're bringing back, and Levi's looking over the bodies, and we get this one character, Dieter. Thank you. I wrote a D strangely, so I read it wrong. Dieter. Really upset because one of their friends...
Ivan,
they can't find Ivan, so Ivan they can't find, and they know that he's back there somewhere, and Irvin's ready to move out because, you know, there's Titans back there and we gotta just go. So
well, they found his body, but they couldn't get close enough to grab it because the Titans were there, and if they'd gone in, the Titans would have zeroed in on him and it would have basically brought them all down on the entire Survey Corps, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Right, so Irvin making the proper commander decision of let's cut our losses, and it's a dead body, we need to cut our losses and keep everyone else alive and go. Some of the troops not really understanding that, like Dieter, and being like, oh, you're heartless because you want to keep other people alive.
Oh,
with the last part of it.
Well,
not thinking about the last part of it.
Yeah, well, Dieter and his friend is like, as he was saying, it's like, I've known his family for years. They're basically like my own blood. I can't face them unless I bring them Ivan's body back. And, you know, kind of good news for him. He gets eaten, so he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Well, Dieter's okay, though. He'll still have to face
It makes me wonder how long they've been in the Survey Corps, because they're clearly not the new recruits, but they, you know... But
it makes you think that they're recent.
I'm going to go with not very.
This may have been their first expedition. They might have been part of the Corps for a while, but as we see, this is the 57th expedition, like as in 57th total since the founding of the Scout Corps.
Which was 100 years ago. Yeah.
So that's like little over, like 2.5 excursions, like a year, maybe at that. And who knows, like, how many that they... actually, you know, how far they go, how long they stay out there, so it could have been.
And depending on how badly you get torn up per excursion, you may need a couple years to build your ranks up again before you go out.
And speaking of Dieter, though, he ends up returning with a couple Titans on his tail. Get way to come back, friends.
Congratulations.
And they got the body, though.
Idiot.
They got the body, so...
And then they lose the body,
And,
which good job,
yeah,
everybody.
Right away. I love that one Titan, to me, the one that ended up chasing most of them. He looked
one
really
that-
cold.
The one that was talking
yeah.
himself?
Yeah,
like,
I'm like,
okay, bro.
I was thinking, man, good thing the one that's chasing them is the really cold one who's just like can't like stop like holding himself. He's
That
just
was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, and can I just interject here that they were talking about how we found pieces of some of the bodies, and Irvin went, maybe we shouldn't bring those back.
Yeah.
We don't want another Moses.
Well, Erwin was there when they brought Moses' arm back. He was part of that scout expedition that came in, led by, oddly enough, Shardis.
Right.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, that was really funny when you go back and look at that and you're like, that's Shardis. That's Shardis with hair.
What?
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Notice that?
I didn't
No,
notice
not
that
the
either.
first time around.
Yeah, the guy when Aaron is looking at the Survey Corps when they come back in that first episode, the guy who led that expedition was Shardis.
He used to be the commander of the scout corps.
Well, that
Wow.
gives you even more reason to think like Shardis knows his stuff. So interesting. I didn't know that myself.
I think it explains a lot about his tough as nails approach
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
definitely.
Well, and good on Irvin for understanding that maybe getting a piece of your kid's body is worse than not getting anything at all.
Right, like he just said, mark them as missing.
Yeah.
just a little better way to say it.
They're missing.
Like Spartans.
Yeah, or just MIA.
Yeah.
The other
Halo
term that we
jokes.
use. Yeah.
Halo
I
jokes.
know.
Anyway,
Reach.
very cold Titans on our trail.
Right, so Levi, as you guys point out, doesn't do anything because of his injury. So, great point, and thank you for bringing that up. And they, Mikasa ends up saving Dieter, who's about to die, as Dieter's trying to save his friend, who now has died. So,
He gets grabbed by the Titan he's trying to
Yay.
kill. Mikasa's the one that actually kills the Titan, and poor Dieter's just wiggling his way out of the hand, looking horribly shell-shocked.
yeah,
For
well,
good reason.
you now got your friend killed too.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Well done.
everyone. Way to be.
Well
Way to
done.
be.
So, and because now we have Cold Titan chasing them, Levi makes the decision that they need to dump all the bodies that they have. So now they're also losing the bodies that they have to bring back because of this. So he even sees Petra's body go
Well, one of
flying.
the sheets comes loose,
Yeah.
and you just see her, and it's like, we are twisting the knife today.
Well, what's terrible about it is he right before they dump them, he's like, these people are nothing special. Consider this their final service to the Corps.
Yeah.
And you know that he doesn't even believe that
Yeah.
because he knows exactly who's on that cart.
Yeah, but
But
again,
if
it's
they-
that save everyone sort of thing.
If
Yep.
they don't do that, there will be more dead bodies to join them.
Serve the living, not the dead.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, as Dieter is looking dumbstruck and upset, Levi looks absolutely pissed at him and then comes and actually says something really nice to him and actually kind of picks him up, saying, "We can't always carry our fallen comrades home, but we carried their memory." So, a good
And-
quote from him.
And then he hands him that patch telling him that it's Ivan. And we all know
It
that's
was
not
Petra's.
Ivan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Petra's.
Most likely, that would make the most sense. But to that man at that moment, that was Ivan's patch. He's never going to let that go, and he's never going to forget that. And I don't know if this is if that's going to forge him into something better or it's going to cripple him and make him worse. But who knows at that moment?
That's some major skill to be able to go back and get Ivan's patch somehow during that,
Yeah.
who got slapped away right away.
Honestly, he'll probably figure it out eventually that there was no time for that patch to be picked up, but at the moment, that's what he needs. It's a psychological band-aid.
Yeah, that's what he needs to hear. So, this is around the time that we get a flashback with Mikasa and Eren talking. And before we go into that, though, and speaking of Mikasa, we actually have on the phone with us Trina Nishimura, who happens to portray Mikasa. So, how are you doing?
It looks like I answered, but then it didn't answer.
Wow,
We-
Trina,
Oh.
you sound suspiciously like Stephen
Steve.
Lemieux.
Wow,
It's amazing.
your voice is a lot deeper than I thought it would
I'm
be.
calling right now. For
You are fantastic with accents.
You'll be able to hear the ringing.
That's
Oh man.
The anticipation is just, it's there.
Oh no!
Oh my god! Oh my god, this is perfect.
That's all right. Just let us know. Wave at us if
Yeah.
she
Attack
calls
on
back.
voicemail.
Womp womp.
All right. So, yes, that's what happens when you hang up on someone when they call you. They're like, well, screw you then.
Maybe a lone arm just can't answer.
All right.
Boom, boom, bottom.
All right. So, Mikasa, though, in the past, telling Eren has this dream to join the Scout Corps. She doesn't want to, and they see the Scout Regiment coming back, which is going to parallel what we're about to see, and the villagers just really discontent with the Scout Corps, thinking they're a waste of the tax money, yada, 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 because who cares about everything outside the walls? The government has told us to not
Ignore it,
care.
yeah.
Right.
It's like soldiers coming home from Vietnam.
Yeah,
Soldiers
that's
were-
a really good parallel, actually.
They were horribly maligned when they came home from serving in a war that they didn't sign up for. These
Yeah.
being Vietnam vets. Thank you for your service if you're watching. At least the Survey Corps signed up for it, knew what they were doing, and the public does not appreciate it in any capacity.
Yeah.
Well, I guess like at least back in that day, it was like, well, there's nothing really to recover. You're just going outside the walls, which is what we're told is extremely taboo, collecting information that you can't share with anybody else. Like in a lot of ways, really, what were they accomplishing by going outside of Wall Maria? That's actually a fair question.
well,
But even with this current one,
Maybe
with
Armin's
them
parents
coming
would have
in and
appreciated
people
it.
are still yelling at them.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
no,
the-
they're actually trying to get the other wall back.
Well, that's what
What's
doesn't
wrong with you.
See, that's what doesn't make sense. Is then when it parallels to today's time, I was like, you'd think like after people have run away from Titan attacks or freaked out, know it's a real thing, that they'd appreciate that. Hey, these are the guys trying to get us more land back.
Well,
They'd actually understand.
And it was like that actually
Well,
before
when they were leaving.
when they initially left right before the attack on Trust, the Survey Corps, you know, there's that big scene where people are just cheering for them because it's like, yeah, they're gonna go back and take the wall. Maybe it's kind of like a sports bandwagon thing where when you're winning, you know, it's like, oh, look at all the fans that you have, but when you're not, when you come back defeated.
Notice
Yeah, it's a
that
little bit-
both of the big attacks so far on the walls have been right after the Survey Corps leaves.
Really? I didn't even think about that.
It's like they're waiting for all the people who know what they're doing to be out of the way.
Well, the
Interesting point.
Surprise.
Well, the first attack happened like as soon as the Scout Regiment got back, but that second one was definitely
yeah.
well timed.
Yeah, no, there was definitely some thought behind that. And even after the Survey Corps got back, you know, they're always in shambles.
They're too beaten to do anything at
Yeah.
that point.
But it's one such person who was beaten is Eren, who now wakes up after this flashback, and he's upset because he realized he had to be saved again by Mikasa of all people. Ugh!
You think this might be a going theme in the series? Gold star, you tried. An effort was made.
just
You had
like
to save
nothing-
me again.
Nothing has changed since they were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean, admittedly, yeah, no, never
Except
mind.
now there are
He
blades and
keeps-
titans involved.
Yeah, he keeps getting himself into messes he can't get out of because he just goes barreling in without thinking, and Mikasa has to pull him out.
He really doesn't learn. He is a shonen protagonist.
Yeah, but you know, he actually did try multiple times. He waited until the very end this time
Now,
around.
see what,
true.
See what
This is
having
It's like a
faith
kind of
in
a
other
last resort,
people
yeah.
got him.
This is not
Yeah.
a power of friendship series.
This time he actually used it as a last resort. So
Yeah.
he really did wait this time around. So he was trying to learn, and he learned that there is no learning.
But then he went rage crazy instead of thinking and got his ass handed to him.
So yeah, don't go raised. Boys and girls, don't go rage crazy when you become a Titan. It doesn't usually work.
Because that is applicable to everyday life.
Yeah, but because you see,
The more
female
you
Titan,
know.
At
because
least
female
one to
Titan's
Billy
not
Williams.
rage crazy. She's thinking, and that's why she made
Yeah,
it through.
exactly.
So when you become a Titan, don't go rage crazy. So during this now homecoming, as we already talked about, people kind of noting that hey, we got a lot of losses, and then another knife in the gut right there with Petra's dad.
shows up.
Also talking about marriage with Petra too to Levi.
Yeah,
So
I think I saw a gift set at one time where somebody took an episode from The Simpsons, and they're like, you can actually pinpoint the moment when his heart rips in half. they
That
applied it
is
to this
used a
scene.
lot in different fandoms because
Yeah.
it works. But Levi's just
Yeah.
staring straight ahead. He's got this 1,000-yard stare, and Petra's dad is like, well, before we run into her, you know, I received this letter from her, and she's very excited to be serving under you, but, you know, we want to make sure she doesn't get too committed. She's too young to get married, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, God.
She has so much more to live for.
Not anymore!
I enjoyed the best line of that is like, I know that fathers have a hard time letting go. And then it's just kind of like, well, then this next piece of information is going to be just all that harder.
Yeah. Hey, you're really a skilled daughter.
So I've got some good news, and we got some bad news. The good news is she's not getting married anytime soon.
Yeah,
the bad news is the reason
there we
why.
go. Also, Irvin, too,
Cloud
has
has
the
a silver
1,000-yard stare as well, because Irvin's also getting berated by people like, hey, why are there less people? Why is all that?
Do you think their last thought was for the good of humanity?
Yeah,
Considering that we
sure.
can hear a lot of their own last thoughts, which is no, please God, don't, you know.
Yeah.
I can say that it's safe to say no, that was not.
Probably not.
Steven, did you signal me, or am I going crazy? I
You're
guess
going
not.
crazy.
Did what?
I thought I saw his hand go up, so I was like,
Oh,
it was
no.
just like corner of my eye. All right, so yeah, they're just asking, was it worth it? Was it really worth it to them? And we find out as the episode wraps up that even better news. Hey, the scouts lost custody of Aaron. It's been revoked, and everyone's going back to the capital. Yay! Just
Yay.
another nail in,
Yeah.
or another knife in the twist. Just yeah. So now
Another
they even
twist of
lost
the knife.
custody. Yeah, thank you. Another nail, knife,
Nail
butter
in the
knife.
coffin, twist of the knife.
There we
And
go.
now
You know
got a
another
phone
knife in the
call.
coffin? Twisted.
Oh.
Caller, you're on the line. Is this?
Hi, this is Trina Nishimura. I'm so sorry I'm so late.
Oh, that's okay.
Better late than never. Hi.
That is absolutely fine. Thank you so much for calling in.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry. I was in a horrible car wreck today. I know it sounds ridiculous.
Are you all right?
But I am, totally fine. Everything's fine. The car is totaled, but
But you're okay.
Okay.
Okay. As long as you're okay, that's the
Sorry.
important thing.
Oh my
We're just
Totally
glad
fine.
you're okay.
Yeah. It was completely random and weird, and it involved ducks. I don't ask.
Okay.
Okay, we won't ask.
So yeah, now I'm more intrigued by this.
Yeah, no,
this is
this-
like
no,
much
no,
more
no.
This is
interesting.
a story.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, thank you so much for calling in. And actually,
Especially given the circumstances.
yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is actually.
There's a little-known phenomenon in Dallas called hood ducks, which is where I live, Dallas. And there were some hood ducks crossing the road, and my friend was like, "Hood ducks don't exist," because he was visiting, and I was like, "No, they totally exist." And then I was like, "Look, there's some hood ducks." And we were turning, and then somebody ran the light and hit us.
Ah.
But fine now.
Oh, okay, all right.
So all right. So, but it was their fault though. 100% their fault. That's what it sounds like. So. Yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay though.
We were
That's the
just
important
protected
thing.
by the ducks.
Yeah. Well,
The deadly hood ducks.
there you go. All right. Well, yeah, I'm glad everyone's okay. So that's the
Yeah.
most important part. And I guess we should talk about the episode though a little bit. So this is actually I'm not sure if you know which episode you're calling in for, but this was a big episode for Mikasa in a way, where this was the episode where she once again saves Eren from with
female
using Levi's
Titan.
help from the female Titan. So that's the episode we're currently talking about.
Awesome. The female type, very dangerous.
Yes.
Very dangerous. No nipples, but very dangerous.
And that's the important
quite
thing,
true.
very important thing. So, one of the things that we've kind of talked about and had debate about with Mikasa's character is if her feelings for Eren are platonic and kind of like a brotherly sister one, or a love relationship sort of feelings, or evolved into that over time. When you were actually doing this character, what were your thoughts on it, and how did you tackle that?
Absolutely. So when I approached Mikasa, in general, she, her relationship with Eren, as I understand it and as I portrayed it with Bryce, and as Mike McFarland explained to us, it's purely platonic, and,
Okay.
and it's more, I mean, not platonic, it's certainly a brotherly, sisterly relationship. I know, like, in most shows and in most, fiction, people usually want the main characters to ride off into the sunset together, but because of her, most of her motivation comes from her devotion to her family, or her adopted family, i.e. Eren and Armin, right? And so I think that, personally, that they are more of a brother-sister sort of relationship rather than, I mean, don't get me wrong, Bryce Papenbrook, very attractive man. So,
You have Katie beaming here because she was the one who thought that. I was kind of arguing like, no, it seems more relationship-esque. So
Called it.
I
Thank you
think
for settling that for us. I really appreciate it.
that was the big dispute. So we've talked to a bunch of different people who were going for roles for Attack on Titan. They all read for multiple characters when they went in. Did you read for Mikasa, and was that one of the characters that you were really hoping to get?
Yeah, actually, she is. She was. I mean, who doesn't want to be her? She's tough and she's smart and she's like driven and the best fighter, and she's a different kind of female character than you see in a lot of anime, or really in a lot of different kinds of media, because she is so strong and because she isn't just your average girl who's motivated by, you know, some sort of boyfriend thing, which I find really interesting. When I started doing anime, there were basically two stereotypes, right? Like there's the big boob girl and then like the tiny little like mousy girl.
Are you talking about Slayers right now?
I'm sorry?
It makes me think of like Slayers with like Naga and
Lena.
Lena, thank you. It's been a while since I watched Slayers. Sorry, go on.
Okay. But I was drawn to her character because it was something that there's this definite shift going on away from, because there could be girls that were good fighters, but they also had to be hypersexualized. And Mikasa isn't that. I mean, she's a pretty girl and everything like that, but she doesn't have giant
Bazoom.
I know she has a very big break, but I liked it. I really liked her strength. I really liked her devotion. I really liked that it was a different kind of character that I can show to my goddaughter and be like, hey, Jules, like there are all different kinds of people in the world, and there are all different kinds of girls, and you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into being just one particular person. So I liked it. I love that about her character, and I really, really, really wanted to read for her. And luckily, I got the part, which is great. But I mean, quite frankly, Sasha is pretty cool, and she's like my second choice. I was like, so you're telling me that in the face of danger, there's a girl that just wants to eat? Yeah, I like her too. I think she's super rad. So I read for those two, and I think I read for one other person, but I can't recall who.
Yeah, well, Sasha's also a great character, but out of curiosity then, when do you plan on letting your goddaughter watch this show?
When she's 16?
Well, she's 13 now.
Okay, so she's around, all right.
Yeah, so she's not really as into anime as I would prefer her to be.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's so weird when people are born and she, like, initially, like when she was 5, I could be like, hey, we're going to listen to Johnny Cash. And she was all about that. And then the Hannah Montana thing happened. I don't even want to talk about that. That was a horrible time, a dark time. That's a modest mouse, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is such a great show, so even if she's not into anime, hopefully she'll at least check this one out at some point. I don't know. I feel like I would watch this at 13. I feel like it's... I don't know, I guess more because it's action. It's gory, but it's not like Blood Rain gory.
I feel like it's more than a lot of 13-year-olds could handle.
I don't know. I think we underestimate what kids can handle, but that's my personal view. It doesn't matter. But so you did get this great role, and like, what are you looking forward to in the next? I guess I can't spoil things. What are you looking forward to with your character? That's not too spoilery.
That's not too spoilery. I'm the worst at spoilers. Like, I'm like, oh, you know, when blah, 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 and people are like, really, Trina? Really? Things I'm looking forward to with her character.
Okay, let me rephrase the question then, so we don't have to go into spoilers. How about, what have you enjoyed about Mikasa other than her strength? Like, what particular episodes have you enjoyed doing? Because she's had so many episodes, as we are now just wrapped up the first part, or the female Titan attack.
Yeah, I think the episode that I really enjoyed working on was, well, I mean, I've enjoyed the entire series, but there was a particular episode, I think it was like episode 5, where it kind of gives you like the backstory of how Mikasa and Eren met.
Yeah.
And since that's already played, can we talk about it? Or
yes, we absolutely can.
Okay, so the backstory about her, and because she's the last Asian on Earth, right? She's half Asian, and her mother was the last Asian. And so the fact that these bad guys come in and they kill her parents in front of her, and like in the beginning she's like, I like the color, and then by the end of it she's, you know, she's been kidnapped, and she and Eren finds her and kills the first 2 bad guys, and then there's this thing that happens where her innocence is taken, right? I mean, obviously, like, she's been kidnapped and is being holed up and is going to be sold into slavery. The switch that happens while she is lying there and watching this third bad guy hurt Aaron, and then she kills the third bad guy. I think that is so formative into who she is and into the kind of character that she grows into, to be like innocent and to see that dynamic change and to see her loyalty to and her relationship with Aaron to initiate and begin is really touching. And then to see like her come back out of that as a child, like recovering once the adults find her and Aaron, you know, put the scarf around her neck and be like, "You're coming home with us. We're a family now." And seeing like innocence into reality, and then back into reality and the humanity and the weight of what it would be like to be a child that just went through that, and then to see that change somebody so much. And it's horrible and it's sad, but all fiction is based off of real life in some way, and there are instances like this that happen around the world, and it is a way for, I think that art in general is a way for us as humanity to understand the bad things that happen in life and understand our role therein, which is to say that this bringing that kind of awareness and that kind of knowledge of these things that happen around the world and putting them into a tangible form, i.e. anime, helps to not only make people more aware of the suffering that happens around the world and therefore be an activist or a participant in whatever way you can, but also to know that bad things happen around the world, and you know, we all face our own titans, whatever those titans may be, that can be as gruesome as, you know, human trafficking or as horrible as school bullies. But knowing that you can fight back. I'm not saying like kill anybody.
The nape of the neck. The nape of the neck.
That's one of the most thoughtful answers I think we've ever gotten on this show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Titan is. I think that's why Titan is so popular, because so many people like. I mean, we're not going to. Hopefully, I mean, God willing, we're not going to have like giant naked dudes running around eating us. But I think that the reason that people relate to the show so much is because everybody has a Titan. You know, they could be a bully or they could be something horrible, and it's a way for people to deal with the Titans in their own lives, and it's a way for people to wrap their heads around the problems that they have and grow from it. So that's why that was my favorite episode. I'm sorry for the long-winded answer.
No, it's great. Thank you.
Wow.
And
That deserves a slow clap.
Thanks.
slow clap is usually not a good thing. Though.
No,
you
it deserves regular
clap.
applause.
No,
But-
slow clap is the build-up. Is to try. Oh,
Slow
never mind.
clap's usually like
Slow
it
clap
was
is
a bad thing. Yeah,
sarcastic.
sarcasm.
No, slow clap is never sarcastic. Don't you guys
What?
watch John Hughes movies?
Incorrect,
slow clap
sir.
Is never, no, you,
Okay,
never mind.
beyond the slow cap conversation, I think that's something we were talking about with this episode too, that we were just talking about was actually a lot of parallels to real life, with specifically this was war and people coming back with the losses and all that and not being able to eat with their families, and how they set the table for someone before they realize they lost a family member, and just how deep this show really goes, which is one of the great things about it. And something that I really enjoy about the episode you're talking about too is just that the scarf that Mikasa has, that's where the significance of it is. And even in this episode we see her going back to hugging her scarf and all that, and it's just that one thing that you can cling on to.
It's a comfort object.
Right, that comfort object. So I like that aspect of the show, definitely. So what do you have going on for you before we wrap this up, outside of Attack on Titan?
Outside of Attack on Titan, I actually have a few really awesome projects coming up that I am under contract not to say.
Yeah.
Like, I even called them. I was like, hey, listen, I'm doing this show. I'm super excited about it. Like, I didn't know that there were going to be hood ducks involved. But there were hood ducks. So, like, okay, so I was like, is there any way I could, like, announce it? And they were like, oh, if it was next month, you could. But there are some really exciting things coming down the pipeline for me that I would love to talk about, but unfortunately cannot as of yet. But soon.
That's always an anime thing. Every anime thing is every time we interview someone, they're like, cool projects, but can't say anything. But that's great. I'm glad that you do have great projects coming up. And we've talked before on the show that we think you do a great job representing Mikasa. So thank you for your amazing
thanks,
portrayal.
guys. That's so nice.
Yeah. It's
Well,
definitely,
thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
If you watch the first, I think it's our second episode, we actually do talk about it, that we like your portrayal.
True.
So I'm not just saying that, we actually do really like it. So thank you so much for coming on our show. And we do have to get moving, but I'm glad to hear that everything seems to be okay after the accident. I hope
Yes.
that it continues to be that way.
The ducks are okay. That's amazing. The ducks are good.
And that is the important part.
That is the very important part. As long as the ducks are okay.
Yeah.
But Ann, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh my God.
Well,
Vicious jungle ducks.
yeah. All right. Watch out for ducks back home, guys. Thank you so much for watching this show. Once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at @DaveKlein. That's Klein.
And I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at @themenguin. That's TheMenguin. Be careful driving home.
And I'm John Quick. You can find me on Twitter at @NowQuick and on the Legend of Korra After Panel starting at 6 p.m. today.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. I am also on Sword Art Online and Ruby. Please remember to find us on iTunes, rate us 5 stars because you love us, subscribe. We love you too. Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next week. Later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.